How's it going, guys? So I think when we last left off, we were cutting apart the trunk floor, and before I got to welding that and doing anything more with that, I wanted to do the rear end, since when the trunk floor's cut out, I have a lot of access to it. I already pulled the rear end out of the blue Galaxie. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Right now, we are going to be pulling this rear end out, cleaning everything up. Now, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but I've already cleaned up and painted the whole passenger compartment and frame rails and all that. And then back here, it's still icky and dirty, so I'll go ahead and clean all this up and give it a coat of paint. So that's hopefully gonna prevent it from rusting more in the future and give it a nice clean look. But right now I'm actually working on the rear end. So was working on the pinion seal and got it out. Yeah, it's mangled, but the new one is actually too small, so ordered the right one. Waiting for that to come in the mail. While I've been waiting, went ahead and cleaned up this whole brake assembly and threw on the new parts that it needed. And figure I'll bring you guys along for the rebuild of this rear brake drum. All right. So pretty much what I'm gonna be doing is disassembling this whole mess and trying to clean it up because it's just filled with gunk. And we're going to be replacing the adjuster screw, tensioner, whatever you want to call it, and the wheel cylinder. So let's get at it. Alright, so after hitting that with the brake cleaner, then just rinsed it off with a garden hose and a little bit of Dawn dish soap, gave it another scrub, rinsed it off again until it was nice and clean and dry. And now we're going to add some paint. Alright, so we got a nice wet second coat on there. We're going to let that dry for a little while, flip it over and paint the other side. And while I was letting the first coat dry, went ahead and cleaned up all these little brackets and all these springs and pretty much everything with a bunch of brake cleaner. That way when I put it all back together, it's nice and clean. And if I need to replace any of those parts down the road, right now they look good, but if anything breaks, when I take it apart, it's going to be nice and easy to work on. Okay, so as the paint's drying on that, we're going to come down here and I'm going to show you guys, I guess, how I disassembled the leaf spring pack to get it down to 2 leaf springs. That way it sits a lot lower and gives us the ride height that we want. And then of course I'm just going to be putting the bags on top of that, so that's how we're going to lift the car up if we want to sit in higher or lower. And yes, I know that going down to 2 leaf springs, you know, they're going to twist a little bit and all that. This is not going to be a hot rod, it's not going to be taken to the drag strip. It's just going to be a fun little cruiser. We are going to be going down to these 2 leaf springs right here, and as you can see in the front, they're clamped together, just the two, but in the back, they get this third one in here too. So I'm gonna wrap a little bit of electrical tape right here just to keep that one from separating when I take the clamps off and remove that bolt and take everything apart. And there you have it. So now it's down to 2 leaf springs, which I'm hoping that it's gonna sit on these bump stops, but we'll see. And yeah, it's all holding together good. Now I'm just gonna hit it with the wire wheel, get all the surface rust off, and hit it with some black paint and make it look nice and clean. In the meantime, I did install the rear pinion seal. I think I have a little clip of that. I'll put it in right here. So I pretty much just made a mark, counted the turns, and counted them when I was putting it back on and lined everything back up. So now we're gonna go ahead and assemble the brake. All right, so there you go. Pretty much just gotta clean up the drums and paint them, throw them on, but besides the brake line, it's all done. I've also went ahead and sealed the bottom, all the edges, and painted it so it looks all nice, matches the rest of the underbody, which is all nice and gloss black and nice and clean. All right, so ran those nuts all the way down the U-bolts and chopped the rest off, torqued them down to 90 foot-pounds, and already got one wheel thrown on. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt the wheel on this side because I am dying to see how low this thing's gonna go. All right, it's the moment of truth. We're gonna see how she sits.